What's going on, everybody? Smoother Man here with another informative video for you fellas out there. So check it out. I wanted to talk about when men have standards, right? Because as you see what's going on in the red pill community, the manosphere community, etc., is that the narrative is being changed, and that's a good thing, right? And it needs to change. It needs to change because, as you know, we've been, the way society has been going and emasculating men and really trying to destroy positive masculinity. So, how's the situation when men have standards? And make no mistake about it, fellas, you need to have standards. Too often in recent decades, men, we've been trained to really not have standards at all, right? We've really been trained where we we've been taught that we have to try to meet the standards of women, and that has put a lot of men in a disadvantageous position where the man is always the one trying to appease the woman, to please her, to meet her demands, to meet her standards, and yet we have no standards at all. How many times have you guys felt this way? Matter of fact, I'm sure many of you guys have felt this way when you see an attractive woman and you want to approach, but you're scared, you're hesitant to approach, perhaps because she has an appearance, maybe she's very attractive, and you feel that, as they say, the saying that you're not in her league. But where does that feeling come from? Where does this she's not in your league or not in my league feeling come from? It came from that training that we've been had in this society, that you have to try to meet the standards and demands of a woman. And many women buy into this, right? Many women have bought into this, that you got to be, you maybe you've been on dating sites, right? Or just heard women talking, and they have a list of demands. They have a list of standards that they want you to meet. And if you don't meet those standards, of course, as a man, you feel inadequate. You feel less than. You feel insecure. But we're about to change that. We're about to change that. This whole thing is about to change. We're about to change the narrative. So, again, what happens when men start to have standards? Well, as we beginning to see, especially like when you see many videos, some of the videos by the brother Kevin Samuels, you begin to see that now when men are starting to show that, or say that we have standards, you see a lot of females can't take it. They just can't handle that. They just can't handle it. They just can't handle men having standards because, again, we've been taught that they're the ones with the standards, and we men, we just have to meet those standards. But that's changing now. Now men are showing that we actually do have standards, and we demand standards. And fellas out there, if you don't have standards, I want you from this day forward to start having standards. Standards are very important because you need to start to feel that you are a man of worth, and that you're not going to just accept anything. You're not just going to accept any female just because she's a female, just because she's pretty, just because she's attractive, or whatever. You're not going to just accept anything. Men, you need to start to have standards. And again, as I said, we see that now that it's being put out there that men do have some standards. At least men of worth have standards. That a lot of females, they just can't handle that. They're upset about this. They can't handle it because, again, they've been given this entitlement, this privilege, that it's our job, it's the man's job to try to meet her standards. And now that we're saying that, well, we have standards too. We want women to be feminine. We prefer women that are, in shape, shapely, fit, right? We prefer women that, are not masculine or aggressive, right? And this has become a problem because, again, they're not used to this. They're not used to it, and neither are a lot of men. A lot of men weren't used to this either because that's not how you've been trained. But again, as I said, we're about to change the whole game. We're about to change the whole game because it's time that men, you start to have standards. It's a must that you have standards. It's a must that you have standards, and that any woman that you're going to involve yourself with, whether you're out there, dating, your religious brother, Muslim brother, Christian brother, whatever, Jewish brother, or whatever other religions you follow out there, it's time for you to start to have standards. It's important because again, the other way had put men in a disadvantageous position. It put you in a position to be a simp, right? To be a simp. And you came with in this submissive, you, the man, was coming in this submissive manner, in this bowing down manner. But again, no, that took you out of your masculine frame. Now it's time for you to get back into your masculine frame, right, fellas? It's time for you to get back into your masculine frame. And one of the ways to do that is to start to have standards, right? It's to start to have standards. You know how they used to say that, most men will F anything that walks. Well, no. Not a man of some kind of worth. Not a high value man. And again, see my video on the what I feel is the more proper definition of a high value man, right? It's not about having about a lot of money, right? But if you are one of those men, no, you're not that kind of man. You don't just F anything that walks. You have standards, right? You have standards. The woman has to meet your standards. You're not just going to accept any woman just because she's a woman. You're not just going to have sex with anybody. You have discipline. You control your sexual desires and your sexual urges. And you're very selective in the woman that you're going to give your time to, right? And again, this thing about, demanding that the woman be fit is important, right? That's very important because, again, be honest with yourself. That's what most men want, right? Most men want a woman who's fit, who's in shape, who's shapely and attractive in her body and in her face, right? Also, too, one of the standards that a lot of men have been talking about is this thing, especially in the black community, with the wigs and the weaves. Men have been saying that we prefer your real hair, right? And something we can add to this is these blonde wigs and these blonde weaves, like on black women. It's like, come on, for real. You know what I mean? Like, cut that out. Cut that out. You know what I mean? We've heard all the excuses about, you want to switch it up and style and all that. But no, again, as I always try to tell them, no. You don't see white women and Asian women and Latino women wearing some Afro puff wigs, do you? Do they? Right? They don't. That's not. They don't switch up to your hairstyle. So what are you doing trying to wear their hairstyle? So a lot of black men, and this is the trend. These are standards that all men can have, but right here, this particular part is more relegated to black men. That we need to have a standard as well for our women. We're not going to be accepting all this fake hair, these fake weaves, these fake eyelashes, right? That we're not going to accept these blonde wigs, right? We have standards. They say they want a man to be real, but yet they're not real, right? Fake wigs, weaves, fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake everything. Even now they're getting fake body parts, fake breasts, fake asses. But they say they want a man that's real, right? They want a man that's real, but they're not real. So as men, we're saying that, look, we have standards. We have standards. And these are some of the standards. These are some of the requirements that we have. And again, I'm telling you, fellas, it's important that you start to have standards. And each man can have their own. There are some standards that are going to be general to most men. And then as a man, whatever you prefer, you can have the standards that you prefer individually for yourself. But it's important that you have some, because this way, when you approach a woman, you approach with a man of confidence. You approach with an air of confidence and masculinity about yourself because you have standards. You're not just running to try to meet her demands. You're not just running to meet the standards that she places upon you or that she demands. You're letting it be known that, hey, look, I'm a man of worth. And I have standards. And these are the standards that I require. And if you don't meet these standards, then you can't be with me. Not that I can't be with you, but you can't be with me if you can't meet these standards. And again, like I said, whatever you have your standards, you make sure that you make a list. I want all you fellas that watch this, you young men, older men, if you haven't done it, make a list, whether mentally or write them down, whichever is easiest for you, and let it be known. And the standards that you require. Like I said, some standards are going to be things that most men in general want. But then you may have your own personal preferences. But again, it's important that you have some. It's important that you have them, and it's important that you stick to them. Don't be mesmerized by the pretty face, by the nice shapely body or whatever. And then again, of course, there are women that don't have that. And if that woman does not have that, if she doesn't meet those requirements, then you're just not going to accept that. And if she's attractive, but the attitude is wrong, you're not going to accept that, right? You're not going to accept the disrespectful attitude, the aggressive attitude, that masculine energy coming at you. You're not going to accept that because you're a man of standards. You're a man of discipline. You won't just, you control your sexual urges, right? And you will make sure that you demand of the woman that you're with that she maintains and holds to these standards. And you have to stand on your square, fellas. You have to stand on your square that if she doesn't meet these standards or she begins to fail in upholding those standards, that you have to be strong and man enough to either to let her know, number one, as a man, look, you're slipping. You need to fix this. And if not, then it's time to go. It's time to let her go. Just like that. Just like that, fellas. And you have to mean it. You have to stand on it. So this, like I said, the benefit of men having these standards is that men now, you can approach with an air of confidence. Not arrogance, but of confidence. Because you too have standards. You're not just a man who comes with nothing, right? You don't just come with nothing and it's all you bowing to her and kowtowing to her and trying to appease her and please her. You're letting it be known that, okay, that's fine, but I have standards too. And you'll probably be surprised that many women might be shocked by this. Many women might be shocked by this because they're not used to that. And then others will respect you, right? Others will respect you and see you as the man that you're supposed to be and will indeed come to meet those standards that you have because you're in your masculine frame, and she'll respect that if she's a true feminine woman. So again, fellas, just wanted to put this out there that it's, again, it's important that you have standards as a man. It's very important that you have standards as a man. And this, when more men start to do this, things in society are going to start to change. Watch. Things in society are going to start to change. And the narrative is going to change. And hopefully we can affect, and change these negative interactions that men have been having, which is why, you have the Ibmores and the save yourselves black man and the MGTOW men going their own way, and the red pill and the various other ideologies that are out there, right? But this is the step that men, you need to start to have standards. It's very important. It's very important that you start to have standards for your own benefit, and you'll begin to see a change in the way, not only the way you yourself interact with women, but the way women begin to interact with you, because they're going to respect you. And again, make sure when you have them, you have to stand on those standards. You have to have them and you have to mean it. And you have to stand on them. Okay? You can't all of a sudden give them up because the woman is attractive and very pretty, and then all of a sudden you melt away and you get mesmerized by the beauty. No. You have to maintain these standards, stand on them, and accept nothing less, fellas. Except the same way women are saying that why should they have to settle, and they're not going to settle. See, and again, that even right there, even that this thing about, oh, I'm not going to settle, why should I have to settle thing. Again, this is their entitlement. This is what they're used to. And again, I mean, right on the surface, right? No, you shouldn't have to settle for anything less than what you want. But of course, we begin to see that a lot of these so-called settling things is really just the woman's entitlement, and things that really are worthless. Like, oh, I'm not going to settle if he's not the right height and all these different things. But because of these silly standards that they have, so-called standards that they have, they overlook and pass up good men, right? So again, it's important that you as a man begin to have standards. Okay, guys? So again, like I said, if you don't, I want you guys to start making your set of standards. Make a list, whether mentally or write them down, right? Either make a list, mental list of standards that you're looking for, that you want, or write them down. Stick to them. Make sure you stick to them. Make sure you stand on your standards, right? And now you don't necessarily have to, and again, when you meet a woman, you don't necessarily have to tell her what your standards are, but you can observe and see, does she have these standards, right? Now, if there's certain things, there's certain things that you don't have to disclose, and there are certain things that you might want to disclose to a prospective woman, or if you're in a relationship and the standards are starting to fall short, you can let her know, hey, look, you're starting to gain a little bit of weight. Let's get back into the gym. Let's get back to being fit. Get back to being in shape. If she's disrespectful with the attitude, let her know. Look, I don't tolerate this. This disrespect, this talking. So, please check that, or this not gonna work, or you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to be out of here. You know what I'm saying? This masculine energy, this masculine attitude. Yo, slow down. How you coming at me with this masculine energy? I'm not gonna tolerate this. And again, you have to say just like that. You can't be afraid. See, too many men have been afraid to stand up for themselves because you're afraid of losing her, or you're afraid of losing the intimacy or whatever. Bro, no. That's what puts you in that weak position. That's what puts you in that weak, disadvantageous position. No, you have to start to look at yourselves, fella, as a man of worth, and hold to that, and not tolerate these things, and not be afraid to walk away. And you're going to see a change in the way, if you're in a relationship, the way the woman that you're in a relationship with interacts with you. Or if you're not, and she comes with that, then you begin to see how they're going to begin to change in the way they begin to approach you, or the way when you approach, or if you're starting to talk and get to know one of these females. And the moment you check that, you're going to see a difference. And again, and if she still wants to maintain that attitude and all that, then you just be like, well, then I'm not dealing with you. You got to walk away. And you can't be afraid to walk away. You can't have this scarcity mindset. You got to be truly and ready and truly mean and ready to walk away. You got to mean that, fellas. Just like that. Just like that. Can't be afraid. Can't be timid. Can't be hesitant. You just got to do it. I'm not tolerating this. I'm gone. I'm out of here. This is over. Just like that. And see. All right? So again, we'll end it on that, fellas. Again, don't forget, make your own standards. They're going to be, like I said, some standards that are general to all men, and then you can put in some of your own personal standards and preferences that you want. But make sure you have them. Make sure you stick to them. All right, fellas? And you're going to see how it even changes when you have them in your mind. You're going to see how you now begin to interact differently. How when you approach, you're going to see a difference. You'll feel the difference. You should feel the difference in the way you approach. You'll feel the difference in the way women begin to interact with you. Right? Whether you're a married man looking to get married, whatever your situation is, you got to have standards. Men have to have standards, and you're going to see a difference in the way women start to interact. And as this ideology starts to spread, we're going to see a change in society for sure. All right, you fellas, stay positive. I'm out. Be good. Oh yeah, don't forget to like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe. And again, if you support the content, if you appreciate the content, you appreciate these gems that we're giving you, go on ahead and show your support. Hit up the Cash App that you see in the description of this video, all right? Or hit up the PayPal. We appreciate it, all right? And we appreciate you. Thank you. Take care, guys.